Hello everyone, my name is Rachel Schmidt, and today we're going to talk about how to be a successful student in a class discussion. What is the purpose of class discussion? The purpose of class discussions are to build collective knowledge and to allow students to practice listening, speaking, and interpreting. Discussions help to support students' social and emotional development. Every student has a voice and contributes to the conversation. So some of the learning objectives of class discussion are to develop original thoughts, demonstrate active listening skills, generate appropriate questions to ask during the discussion in order to demonstrate listening and comprehension, utilize excerpts to further your analysis, and demonstrate critical thinking of an analysis of the text. How to succeed in class discussion. So here are some tips to make you successful. Remember, the goal of critical thinking is to examine your own assumptions and evidence, not just to criticize the thinking of others who disagree with you. Make sure you come to class prepared to dive into the text. This includes bringing annotations of the reading with you. Participate. Always try to include your voice in a conversation. This includes asking questions of clarification or even chiming in that you agree or disagree and why you think this way. Bringing questions in general to discussion is a great way to get the initial discussion on the ball. A successful annotator is not afraid to write directly in the book. Consider having your own personal copy handy to write in. If the copy is borrowed, sticky notes work just fine. A successful annotator always has a highlighter ready to mark up the page. A successful annotator makes notes of important passages in the page number they are located, so that they can flip to it with ease. A successful annotator uses close reading skills when annotating. So consider diction, tone, syntax, imagery, narrator, speaker, setting, symbols, themes, and structure. I'll go more into each of these in depth. So what is diction? So is the word choice of the author distinctive? What is the style? So is it elaborate, dense, simple, descriptive, formal, etc.? And what's the level of vocabulary? Tone. What is tone? It's the attitude taken by the narrator's voice toward the subjects of the work. Is it ironic, serious, sardonic, somber, playful, yearning, etc.? Is the tone mixed or changing? Is it unclear, and why might this be? Syntax. So syntax is sentence structure. So how are the words ordered together? Is the sentence structure unusual in any way? What is the effect of this? Are there a lot of simple or a lot of complex sentences? Are there many fragments? Does it flow easily? So figurative language, or imagery. Are certain words used in unusual or non-literal, non-standard, or metaphorical ways? And what effect does this have? Which phrases denote something literal and which connote something figurative? Imagery carries meaning. So, for example, from The Catcher in the Rye, I put on this hat that I bought in New York that morning. It was this red hunting hat with one of those very, very long peaks. The way I wore it, I swung the old peak the way around to the back. Very corny, I'll admit, but I liked it that way. I looked good in it that way. So for Holden Caulfield, this hat symbolizes much more than just a corny hat. It symbolizes strength. It's kind of a protecting element for him. Narrator and speaker. Who is telling the story? Is the speaker attached or detached? What effect does the speaker's characteristics have on the story? What conflict is present? Is the narrator in first person, third person omniscient? So here's Holden Caulfield again. He is like the first person narrator, and how does his voice influence the story? So directly he's relating his own story. Setting. Does it take place in one time? Does it move in between different times? So for example, then versus now. What is the significance of the locations presented in these stories? Does the work seem to occupy an abstract time and place, such as a mental or emotional state? So, symbol. An object that represents something larger, abstract, or complex, an action, an event, etc. For example, a river could be a symbol for life. A symbol stands for something other than the image itself. So here we have a crow, and in literature, and media, it stands for a variety of different symbols, from transformation to clarity to change, healing. So, now that we know how to be a successful annotator and a successful student in regards to classroom discussion, let's look at the text we've been reading, which is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. What motivates the character's actions, and do you think these actions are justified or wise? Using these tips, let's get discussing.